Hello, people. Until you guys get a name, you are the people. I don't know. This is weird for me, but you're the people. Hello, people. Welcome back. I got a lot done this week, accomplished less than I wanted to, but I set high goals. So we'll go through all of that, how we kept good track of the building. I ended up doing a couple of models, tried to make some courses, ended up doing a lot of media, social media, and the marketing setup for that. You guys will get to see that whole thing. Haven't used it yet. Kind of pumped about it. Just turned out way better than I wanted to. And unfortunately, spent more money than I wanted to this week. And why ultimately it's probably going to be a good thing, and I think we did it wisely. So we'll go through the whole thing.
It was absolutely gorgeous this week, so I took full advantage right away, took the signs down. I actually really like the red behind these, but we're going to decal them or paint them and get them back up once we kind of get an idea of logos and placement. And honestly, there's just a nicer stretch of weather, but it was a nice week to be able to do this. Spend some time inside as well. The projector mount I actually created a while ago for a personal project just because I have a large projector screen right next to my office, which has some plans for it, but there's nowhere that's nice to mount this. So I've actually taken the light down above my office and I'm going to put a permanent receptacle for power there so I don't have to run cables everywhere. This is just the mounting for the physical projector itself. Those little clips on the side allow the bottom portion to be slid on and off, while the top portion can be screwed directly in without the obstruction from the bottom or the projector. And so we'll see how well it holds up. I'm just praying that it's not going to fall with the projector on it. I want to showcase skills within Fusion so that way people can get a better understanding of how tools work inside of three-dimensional software. I learned basically just from YouTube videos and messing around, and so I wanted to go ahead and create models that showcase some of the certain tools and then go ahead and either do an educational course where I physically walk through a project like this, or at least a video demonstration on a website like Fiverr, or at least maybe even my own website if I can get the ad traffic and the right audience. Stuff like the double helix, you can showcase the spiral tool and how bridges connect between there. Taking one object and cutting it out of something like this stand, even with a weird object like that, so it fits in right. Something like this, which is a sign for my mailroom, the address, and being able to put text on an object like that. Everything always has a reason it doesn't want to work, and so being able to work through these basic tools, I feel like is going to be super helpful. Then there's more advanced stuff, and this is just getting into and scratching the surface of the tools, but creating different components and allowing them to move around each other. That way you can showcase whether or not parts are going to work before you even create them, which I think is an amazing thing. Like, it actually blows my mind that you can do that. If people were able to learn this skill, they could be working for themselves or at least contributing to society in a way that's self-reliant. And I think that skills like this are going to be necessary in the future, especially with the advance of technology. I had a friend of a friend request a cool project for me, which was just to make different models for handguns. This is a Sig Sauer 365 XL. That way he can make the holsters custom, which he does very well, without needing the physical weapon present, which is obviously great. And companies do this super expensive, and I can do it cheaper. If you guys remember from the first video, there was this marketing setup that I used to demonstrate the custom lock and putting that back together. I really didn't like it, and I kind of threw it up quickly thinking that the white sheet would be an easy get out of jail free card, but it looks terrible and it's super wrinkly. So what we've done is tear that down and actually spent a significant amount of time upgrading and, well, rethinking it in general. So what I was actually thinking here was doing an entire box enclosure, kind of like a glow box, so that way we could get multiple different angles of light. I took the measurements and, well, really it just needed to fit one frame's worth or one camera lens's worth. So I stood on the table and just took the measurement. And so that's what our box looks like. That way we can have a bird's eye view over the top of it. And then we're also going to enclose the entire thing so that way the light stays there and I can record in the day and the camera quality is not all over the place or it's lighter in one video and darker in another. It just gives us a scene that's always consistent. And that's something I think that social media, especially like when you start talking about algorithms, they really appreciate. And so we're going to go ahead and do that. I also want to use this area to fit in some LED strips and hopefully add like kind of a nice glow in the background. It maybe will contribute to some different types of moods and things like that, different colors that we can kind of set. But I think I want to keep it consistent. Now, the light at the top will definitely be fixed because this is our main light, and the purpose of putting it on the backdrop so that way it does actually cast shadows. It's super bright, so it doesn't do it a ton, but when you're recording, you never want to have your light directly behind the camera. It just ends up looking super bad. There's usually glares. You never get any kind of depth or angles on your lighting, and so it's always recommended that you usually use 3 different angles. So I've got the 2 corner lights here, and then I got the one over top, and hopefully 3 fixed positions where the phone can go. That's not actually how it ended up working out, but maybe in the future. The best part about getting stuff off of the ground is that it really doesn't matter how you do it. Like this is temporary, so I just grabbed some 2x4s and got to work. These were left over from taking the deck down and putting up the new siding. So really just grabbed as many materials as I could find that would work and called her good. So we started making up as we go. I started cutting slots into the side of these boards so that way I could fix them in without having to like rethink all my measurements. I don't know why I went that anal about it, but I did. And so once we got the slots, it was obvious that I could just put a couple of screws in it and it would still be solid and I could move it around. Hopefully I never have to move it around because once you see the thing, it's kind of a beast. And I almost took a video of me carrying it up the stairs just because it was hysterical to me. But I my phone died, so you guys don't get to see that. For the last 5 years, I have been removed from social media, and it has been one of, if not the biggest blessing in my life, at least right off the get go, because it instantly transformed my way of thinking. And the detox is amazing. It's just, it opens so many avenues for you, and you get to forget this massive social net, this social structure that kind of hangs out that we become obsessed with, and advertisers use to push things on us. I think as a consumer, you have to be very vigilant as to what you're consuming, or it could become an obsession. Unfortunately, with so many people obsessed, it's not always ideal, but social media is great for bringing people in, for advertising, for showcasing skills and kind of what the community has to offer. And so obviously I've spent the last 2 weeks pushing that side of it and getting an introduction, all of this stemming from the YouTube, which then videos are broken down and clipped and distributed amongst, well, now there's an X, a Facebook, my personal Facebook, an Instagram, the LinkedIn that I set up for my personal use, and then a school community as well, which is an online forum. If there's online forums like school that I like the premise of, but just haven't really been a big part of my life. If you guys want to set something like that up for a community like this, I'm going to try to do it through my website first once that's up. But if you guys want to talk back and forth directly, kind of relaying with what's going on here, I would love to look into that and how you guys think that what platform might work best. But until then, I want to start reaching out to like Etsy and Pinterest. And so that way I can reach all these different communities and really showcase fun little projects like the one that's going on here. Although it might not get replicated, even unique things spark creativity, and I think that people need that little bit of inspiration sometimes, and social media can be a great place where that happens. I hadn't originally planned to put this corkboard in, but when I saw a sheet of it at Menards, I thought it was a great idea so that way I could put the pegs in keep the tools close, continue to add that depth to videos, and then also just kind of break up the scene so that way it wasn't all just light and wood. I am really happy that I did this. I messed up a little bit, but like I said, it's temporary. So you slap a couple of screws in her and you call it good. And so this is also going to couple with our LEDs in the background. As I'm putting them in, you can kind of tell how they show through. It was just literally a 50-foot strip of LEDs from Walmart. I mean, in order to do this kind of stuff, you don't have to go above and beyond. People think you need all of these streaming equipment and gaming equipment and video recording capture stuff. In order to like make videos and showcase your skills, you really don't. If you have something that you want to show the world, you don't need to have all of this stuff set up around you in order to do it. Just be passionate about what you want and find a way. If you follow one step after another and with no plan at all, I promise that eventually you will figure it out because, I mean, well, A, we're built for problem solving, but also you're way more unique and magically gifted at problem solving than you could really imagine once you apply yourself. So don't let your creativity be snuffed by something as silly as money or not thinking that you know enough. I went ahead and used command strips on the underside of this power strip just so that way I have four lights and whatever else ends up getting connected to here, I can just power it all on and all off at the same time. I'm also a Bixby technician, and so cable management is huge for me. You know, it's kind of like one of those OCD things. And quite honestly, I have more cables in this place than I know what to do with, and it's unbelievably overwhelming. So we'll save some space where we can find it. I have what I call project depression, where I start to doubt my abilities and really the vision that I had had for this thing along the way as I create it. But once you start turning lights on and you see it all come together, it's really satisfying to have your faith rewarded and worth absolutely every second of effort. Once I actually positioned the camera where it was going to go and then tested it out on this gaming headset that I got for recording audio for this video, I was just super happy with the stark difference between where it was and just this one jump where I put in a day's worth of effort, maybe 2 days worth of effort, and went and got some materials. I did it super cheap. I think I built this entire thing with some spare parts that I had laying around and maybe $40. When you really think through what value this could add to the quality of videos and really the marketing as a whole, it's just astonishing what an investment like that could do, as well as the payoff for just, well, this is a rewarding thing that I have done for myself and now I can be proud of. The confidence that that gives you as an individual, especially as an entrepreneur, to keep moving forward, to have projects that maybe at one point you doubted, but now your faith has been rewarded and you can move forward happily and confidently. That confidence is like, I mean, it's worth all the money in the world, right? I mean, entire empires and dynasties have been built on that kind of confidence. And I know we're not building a dynasty here or an empire, but it's one step at a time that small wins matter more than you would ever think, especially in the long run when you stack them up. I mentioned that I'd gotten new headphones so that way I could record audio because, I mean, you can see my headphones are literally falling apart. I'd sewed them back together already. Then I had a standing desk mic, but it wasn't a boom mic that filtered out any background noise. And so I went ahead and did that and then tried to get my old capture card out so we could start recording some of this 3D modeling. And I realized that it actually doesn't work since I have a new laptop as opposed to my old PC. And so we're going to have to go and, well, upgrade at least that ancient. I think I got that for like $40 when I was in college to record some video games. And so that system needed an upgrade. Went ahead and made the investment, upgraded to OBS Studio, which is a great open source recording studio platform, but they have, well, I guess it's not OBS, but it works really well with this little Elgato. And Elgato is a great brand, usually more expensive for something that I would want, but it comes with this little device that I can set really anything to: websites, commands, audio, recording preferences. And so it's this little hub that lets me quick command all of these actions. And I think that that's going to end up saving a lot of time in the future, especially since this social media launch has me boggling between like 7 different websites. It's too much. What most of my next week is going to end up being taken up by is studying for an exam for the Federal Aviation Administration, which allows me to commercially fly drones. Unfortunately, you can do it as a recreational activity with just an online course that's super easy. But a step up above that, once you start to do it commercially, you have to follow the rules. And that comes with step two, which is completion of that knowledge test. Unfortunately, it's just something I have to do. Most people take between 3 to 6 weeks to do it. I went and had to schedule it for next Friday. So we're going to cram all of this in a week, and I will let you know how that goes. I'll probably have some study tactics and things like that. It cost me $175 to get certified, but I am a proponent for taxes. You should own your own LLC so that way you can write things off, and deductions, magic.
This week has been fun. It's been a lot of learning, a lot of that marketing and social media, which, like I said, is kind of grubby to me, but um, I'm going to try and find a balance where it draws people in and it creates healthy communities as opposed to becoming an obsession. The downside of this week, I think, was the financials. Um, and I will tell you why, because besides the projects that you saw, networking has been a big part of this. And with that was a business networking group that actually meets across the street from me, but it's called BNI. They, I've been going to their networking sessions, and I decided and was advised to get a membership. And so that is unfortunately $800 for a year. I really didn't want to pay that, but a lot of good entrepreneurs that I know have highly recommended it. And so I'm gonna probably see that return, but it just hurt to bite the bullet right there. The other big one this week is that Autodesk is free, the 3D modeling software that I use, unless you're a commercial business, then you need the license. That one's $680 for a year. So just right there, we've spent $1,500. And the only reason that this is fine is because, like I mentioned, taxes. Your business expenses can be write-offs, and you pay a 15.3, or is it 13.5% self-employment tax. So all of the profits that you make are yours. The taxes on that 13.5% plus whatever else may lie within there is complete write-offs. And so these business expenses that I'm talking about right now for networking, for advertising, and for software and things like that, you can, as long as you have paid that much in taxes, you can say, hey, I want to write off that entire thing, and bing, bang, boom, you get the money back. So you just have to be smart about it. The other things that we've spent money on, the Beaver Dam Chamber of Commerce, which is where I'm located, I think that's great. Right now I'm a home-based business, and so once I actually have a storefront, then we'll upgrade to, like a ribbon cutting ceremony and being involved in the community. Been to their things, it's great. Juneau Chamber of Commerce, I spent some money on the materials for the marketing, which I think are well worth it. Unfortunately, paid about $60 for the headset, but I think the audio quality is worth it in the long run. And then that $175 on that test, but that's only a waste if I fail. So we got a week ahead of us, a lot of fun. It'll be a lot of software and sitting in this chair, learning the new business side of Autodesk, creating Fiverr educational courses, and then going ahead and studying for that test. So wish me luck. I will see you guys in the future.